Things off here, Collin is going to start things with a Nest Ball, searching out a basic Pokemon out of the deck. We already have a Genesect V in the active position, as well as a Mew V on the bench here.
Yep, so here Collin's going to go through the deck, realize what resources they have to work with, and find out, hey, you know what? I only have one more Genesect in the deck, but that's okay. There's still a couple of other Fusion Strike Pokemon they can bench to try and fill up. They can put in more Mews that they can eventually turn into Mew VMAXs. Those are less liabilities. They can bench Meloettas or Eiscue even, just to really try and draw more. But again, I think something he has to be counting on are his techs specifically for this matchup. You need to disrupt. Your opponent is only playing one prize, well, is more likely than not going to really depend on their one prize Pokemon.
I will not go back.
Cram-o-matic there. Unfortunately, Tails can't find anything from the deck. But yeah, his key cards, his techs like the Lost City, Judges, Ionos, and Path of the Peak. Something of note too, he's also playing Penny, so sometimes he can even pick up a damaged Pokemon if needed.
Yeah, Collin is going to have to bring out all the stops here against Lost Box, especially piloted by someone so high esteemed, such as Andrew Estrada. But unfortunately, that Power Tablet is going to be discarded to the Cram-o-matic for nothing due to that Tails roll off of it. Just rolling a 5, no search through the deck here on our turn 1 for Collin. We are going to get an attachment of the Box of Disaster here onto a Genesect V, and then we're going to go into this first Fusion Strike system. Andrew Estrada just taking a quick look at the Box of Disaster. Of course, that is a secret rare version of it, so maybe just trying to make sure he knows exactly what tool card is on that Genesect V in the first place. But look at that, Wancho. It was just a quick draw there of a card and a pass over to Andrew Estrada here. Radiant Greninja is going to be kicking off the turn here for Andrew Estrada, drawing into 2 cards after discarding that energy, and that is going to bring us to a Battle VIP afterwards. So drawing out some more Pokemon from the deck. Sableye is the active Pokemon that started in this match for Andrew.
Yeah, definitely not the ideal start there. You definitely want those free flower selecting, get those free cards into the Lost Zone without having to expend resources. But hey, that's okay. You know what? You got the Battle VIP Pass. You're going to be able to find yourself a couple of Comfeys. You haven't attached energy yet for turn. The goal here is, again, just ideally, maybe you get 4 cards in the Lost Zone, trying to attack with Spit Innocently. Something like that, getting damage on board. Again, every little bit of damage matters in this matchup. Trying to see here, Andrew Estrada just really trying to find out what he has to work with. But if I had to guess, he has to find at least a second Comfey. It has to be a Comfey chain. Something I didn't get eyes on, however, is if he has another key card, like the Chorus Experiment. Again, you have to get cards in the Lost Zone to be able to play these key cards. But hey, finding themselves the Raikou V instead, maybe signifying they have something like the Forest Seal Stone, and they have now half a Starbirth. Star Alchemy can find anything they want from the deck. If I had to guess, it's Chorus Experiment.
Yep, securing that card when you need it the most. Forest Seal Stone. Incredible inclusion, of course, that you can play off of these V Pokemon. Allows you that single V-Star power. That's why you saw the flip of that V-Star marker there on board. So Andrew Estrada is still going to be working with this hand. This is going to be a Chorus's Experiment, drawing into 5 cards. 3 are going to go to the hand and 2 into the Lost Zone. So we're going to start seeing that Lost Zone stack up. Ooh, finding a Colress off the Colress, always nice to see for sure. And then a couple of other cards, Mirage Gate, Super Rod, Water Energy, but I think that Super Rod and Water Energy are looking like they're going to go into the Lost Zone here. A couple of late game cards stacking into the hand here for Andrew Estrada.
Yeah, definitely tough choices there. You know what? Like, trying to determine, it's always tough sending the Ordinary Rod or energies to the Lost Zone, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. Does have the Switch Cart to be able to go into the Comfey, the lone Comfey. This is their only flower selecting unless they find something like a Nest Ball or another Battle VIP Pass. Looks like a switching card or the Lost Vacuum. Looks like it's going to be the Lost Vacuum. Just to try and turbo out to put more cards into the Lost Zone. I wonder if they can find themselves the Cramorant at the very least, because with that Lost Vacuum, you can actually get to 5 at the moment, and looks like that's exactly what they're doing. Playing down Lost Vacuum, you have to send one of the cards in your hand to the Lost Zone, and then you can choose either a tool or a stadium to send to the Lost Zone as well. You can even send yours to up the count. We're going to see, I believe, the Forest Seal Stone. I didn't quite see what he decided to toss to the Lost Zone. Looks like it's going to be another Water Energy, potentially. No? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just the Water Energy was being placed in the Lost Zone, but I think he just took it over and grabbed them both at the same time. So now we're up to 5 in our Lost Zone here for Andrew Estrada. So, or sorry, 4, already stacking up a bunch of cards there into the Lost Zone.
Yeah, definitely. I believe it should be 5. It was a Chorus, 1 Flower selecting, and then the Lost Vacuum. Opted not to attach this turn, so no attack just yet. And hey, you know what? Collin looks like drew their own Forest Seal Stone, so they're going to be able to find anything they want as well. In this position, you could go for maybe a draw supporter. Looks like they're eyeing out a Judge, a good equalizer there, forcing both players to 4 cards. And then if you take a knockout on the lone Comfey, suddenly Andrew Estrada just only has 4 cards and no draw engine besides the Raikou.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the name of the game is here, Juancho. You talked about this, Collin having to throw as many obstacles in the way against this Lost Box deck, and that's why you see Andrew trying to, as fast as possible, get these cards into the Lost Zone, activate these other cards in his deck, because he's not going to be able to work with much if his giant hand just continuously keeps getting disrupted over and over by all of these cards in Collin's deck. So the Judge is going to have both of these players shuffling their decks up, and they're each going to draw into 4 cards, and that's going to throw potentially some curveballs Andrew's way. But Collin, of course, having those Genesect V, allowing him to draw into more cards. Judge is perfect because it's just 4 cards. You can dwindle down some more cards in your hand and draw even more off that Genesect V. But we'll see what Collin is able to do with this turn. Attaching a Forest Seal Stone, of course. One was already used, but getting that out of the hand onto the field. And Lost City is now in play as well. Let's see if this Cram-o-matic can hit. Oh, 5 is the cursed number, it seems, here for Collin, unfortunately. But we're going to see this first Fusion Strike system now, drawing into a couple more cards, but that is going to be it here for Collin.
It's only been able to set up 3 Fusion Strike Pokemon, so only drawing 3, not too much there. Collin would have been so ahead if they could take a knockout on this lone Comfey, because there's nothing else in Andrew's hand that really helps out. Yes, Greninja able to draw themselves 2 more. I believe a Roxanne and another Energy was the card. So looking at their hand again, it's a lot of energy. Big flower selecting here. Can we find a Chorus Experiment?
Oh, it looked like it was between a Hawlucha or the Energy Recycler, and that Energy Recycler is so crucial to Andrew Estrada's deck. So opting to keep that off of the flower selecting, which is putting us to 6 now in the Lost Zone for Andrew Estrada. Andrew is just an absolute pro in this game. Like we were talking about, former world champion. I think I said in a former division, but he's been playing since he was in those earlier divisions, since he was a kid here. So he knows this game like the back of his hand, and he seems so well versed in this Lost Box, being the only Lost Box deck to make it into our top 8 and now top 4, trying to secure this here, doing everything he possibly can. Then the Nest Ball is going to bring out the Cram-o-matic, or sorry, Cram-o-matic. Oh, wrong Pokemon there. Cramorant.
The Cramorant original here.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I mean, Cram-o-matic, I guess, is Cramorant, but just a robotic, creepy version of it.
Definitely. Anyway, Andrew Estrada, I like getting the Cramorant here. In my opinion, there were 2 options, right? You get the Cramorant or you get a Comfey. You could get more cards or you can exert pressure. And doing 110 damage onto the Genesect, especially when Collin really isn't doing that much, I think it's great. You're essentially trying to 2-shot this Genesect V, and if they can't get it out of the active and you just take the 2 for free, then it's just wait till you can Aqua Storm time, right?
Absolutely, Juancho. Aqua Storm is where we've been wanting Andrew to get to, but haven't gotten to see it yet. So hopefully we'll get to see it pay off. But yes, that real life Cramorant here doing 110 damage. But look what's happening now, Juancho. You predicted this earlier, and now we're seeing it in action. That Penny is going to scoop that damage off of the board here now on Collin's side.
Yeah, scooping up the Genesect V that took damage and or has already used the Fusion Strike system. It's in the hand, puts it back down, and technically, as far as we know, that's a new Genesect, and he was able to draw once again. Looks like an attachment there onto the Mew, just a Fusion Strike energy. That means we're probably not attacking this turn, but I think we're just doing a quick deck check, a quick check here. I believe everything should be fine. Again, the Genesect was picked up with the Penny, so it should be able to draw once again. But right now, only the Mew. Luckily, Mew does have the energy mix attack, so he's able to find the double turbo.
Yeah.
But a very slow start here from Collin. Not something that I don't really expect when I see Mew VMAX. When I see Mew VMAX, I expect 210 damage on the very first turn.
Well, Mew VMAX, where, Wancho? All I see is Mew V here right now. Collin not able to find a Mew VMAX, but just working with Mew V, and a lot of energy out on the field now, powering up both of those Mew V so far. Andrew Estrada is where we're at now, though. That Cramorant attacked once. Unfortunately, all that damage was wiped off the board thanks to Penny on Collin's side. So now it's up to Andrew Estrada to continue the pressure here. Of course, that concealed cards showing how much value it has here in the Lost Box decks, because just drawing into some extra cards, it lets you avoid any disruption. Colress's Experiment, also an absolute staple here for Lost Box decks. Couple of easy choices going into the Lost Zone, bringing us up to 8 now in the Lost Zone for Andrew Estrada, powering through, putting those Lost Zone cards over there, and even getting to bump that Lost City out of the way for Artisan.
Yes, Artisan, again, able to find themselves any basic non-rule box Pokemon, but I believe it was played just so that we can blow it away, I think. But first, we're going to use this Mirage Gate. Oh, we can power up the Raikou V potentially, or we could even try and do Lost Mine. But we'll have to see. Looks like to be an attachment to the Cramorant and a Lightning Energy onto the Raikou. Again, Raikou does have the attack Lightning Rondos. It's 20 plus 20 for each bench. So let's count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 160 plus 20. Hey, Mew V only has 180 HP. That's going to be a knockout here. And there it is. Raikou active. Don't forget, you draw one free card as well with Fleet-Footed and Lightning Rondo for the knockout.
Wow, incredible here, Wancho. Masters top 4, our very first knockout here, and it's going to be from Andrew Estrada's side of the field, from a Raikou V as well, knocking out a Mew V on Collin's side, taking the first 2 prize cards. That's only 4 more that Andrew has to take to get one step closer to the finals here in Pittsburgh. Collin over here on this side now, promoting that Mew V, that secondary Mew V, off of the bench into the active position, and now taking a quick search through the deck here as well.
Yeah, it looks like, again, they don't have that much. Artisan can find themselves either the Meloetta or the Eiscue potentially. This is just more Pokemon in play so that we can draw more cards. That's what Collin has been lacking here. Draw. They haven't been able to draw into their Mew VMAXs, their energies in the proper way. Eiscue, again, has the block slider attack, does 40 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each Fusion Strike energy attached. I believe this is attacked specifically for cards like Spiritomb. It's a good way to target the bench as well in this matchup. Big Ultra Ball here, great way to thin out the hand and find yourself the missing Mew V. But this is not enough damage just yet. We're going to need at least 1 damage modifier here. I could have been the Choice Belt, but unfortunately there's the Forest Seal Stone attached to the Mew V at the moment. So we'll have to see here if Collin needs to find some Power Tablets, at least 1, to take a knockout on this Raikou. Because if they don't, that's bad news for sure.
Yep, that Ultra Ball getting those discards into the first Fusion Strike system here for Collin. Yep, we finally have that Mew VMAX come out of the deck onto the field now. Something we were lacking before, and it is a beefy Pokemon indeed. We've been talking so much about big beefy Pokemon. That's a 310 HP Pokemon there that Lost Box has to work through, and it's 3 prize cards as well if they're able to do that. But really, they can avoid that absolutely completely, but something they cannot avoid is this hand disruption. Iono going to be played here from Collin, and Andrew Estrada is going to just have 4 cards to choose from here off the top, after, I mean, did you see that entire hand? That was a huge
I thought that was the deck for a second.
That went to the bottom of the deck. So all of those cards that were in hand for Andrew Estrada are now at the bottom, and only 4 cards.
I don't think Collin was able to draw a power tablet here. He drew a full hand of 6, and if nothing is playable, you can't draw into, you can't use Fusion Strike system. There's a Cram-o-matic. Cram-o-matic is definitely playable. Very important roll. Tails, unfortunately.
2 5s, and now the 3 is haunting us here, Wancho. Collin cannot seem to hit a heads yet on these Cram-o-matics. We're going to see an energy come down onto that Mew V on the bench, which means the hand is dwindled down enough to draw into a couple more cards. And there we see it, the power tablet that is going to boost that damage here from the Mew VMAX. As well, bumping the Artisan out of there for the Lost City, which means now Lost City is in play. If any Pokemon is knocked out, it goes to the Lost Zone, which is exactly what's happening here. Mew VMAX taking Collin's first prize cards here, 2 prize cards down, tying things up in this matchup. Raikou V wiped off the field for the rest of this game.
Yeah, double-edged sword there. Yes, you're able to knock out the Raikou V, take 2 prizes, send it to the Lost Zone. But also, you sent it to the Lost Zone, and Andrew Estrada is 1 card away from really activating Lost Mine. And it's as simple as this: 1 flower selecting, and let's see what they can find. All they need is potentially, actually, they don't need that much. If the game plan here is to really go for the Aqua Storm, you just need to keep drawing cards. Keep sending cards to the Lost Zone.
Something Lost Box does pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, sending those cards to the Lost Zone, setting up your hand, your deck, and your field to be able to really utilize the Aqua Star attack on the Kyogre. Or you can even maybe try and take a knockout with, or use the Sableye to put damage onto something like the Genesect, and maybe just take knockouts the good old-fashioned way. Let's see what else they have in store for us here. I believe there's an energy in the hand. No, it's going to be another Sableye bench. It's safer on the field because then you can't judge it away. We know for a fact, though, that Collin only plays one Judge and 1 Iono. So all the energy disruption, or all the hand disruption, is now in the discard pile. They're going to need to find something like a Pal Pad to put it back.
Absolutely. We have a full party here, full bench here on Andrew Estrada's side of the field. Beach court going to come into play. We're back at the beach, Wancho, bumping away that Lost City, which allows for some easy free retreats here for Andrew Estrada now that that is the current stadium in play. We're seeing even more cards being put into the Lost Zone here. And that's going to bring us up to 11 now, Wancho. So Sableye is more than available here to start putting some damage counters down.
Yeah, but we still need this psychic energy to be able to use that. So it's going to be a simple spit innocently. And this is something you may think, hey, what is 110 damage onto the Mew? But now with that damage on the Mew, Aqua Storm, it's now, you can even hit it with Aqua Storm, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Every single damage counter counts for sure. That's going down here on the board for Andrew Estrada. And again, that Mew VMAX is 3 prize cards. It's so beefy, but it is a huge reward once you're able to take it down. And that's what Andrew Estrada is looking to do here. Just clean up the rest of these prize cards and take this game away. But Collin, hopefully trying to make something happen here in this turn. I feel like it's just been so clunky so far for this Mew VMAX deck. For Collin.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when half your draw engine is in the prize cards. But they were able to draw at least one of the Genesect. And let's see here. Is going to play the Elesa Sparkle. That means they're going to be able to accelerate 2 Fusion Strike energy to 2 Pokemon. Trying to set up the second Mew. Oh, could potentially attack with the Eiscue here. But right now, they're going to need at least 1 more energy attachment for turn to be able to do this attack. Would love to maybe see them try and target down either maybe Radiant Greninja or maybe the Comfey, because your goal is, right now, Andrew Estrada's goal isn't really necessarily doing damage. It's to, it's not to do damage, but it's to really go through their decks, right? So if you can take down their draw support, or their draw engines, I think that would be a better target. Let's see what else Collin can do here. Again, you do see now there's the 2 Fusion Strike energies attached to that Eiscue. Now we're going to finally do some Fusion Strike systems. We're drawing some cards. We have 3 Genesects to work with. Try to find that Pal Pad, I think. We have to go back to the Disruption route.
Yeah, look at that. Full benches on both of these players' sides here. So many cards that Collin is able to draw with these Fusion Strike systems that allow you to draw up to a hand per Fusion Strike Pokemon in play. So tons of Fusion Strike Pokemon here for Collin. And as long as he can get these cards back out of the hand, he's going to be able to draw into even more cards and hopefully secure what he needs here for this turn. Lost Vacuum is going to be played, another card that helps you get these cards out of your hand. You have to discard 1 card into the Lost Zone, of course. Going to be that boss's orders, so that's something Collin's not going to be working with anymore for the rest of the game. But that is going to allow the Fusion Strike system to draw 2 additional cards into the hand. But what are we looking at here, Wancho?
Looks like they do have at least Mew VMAX in the hand, but they don't really, 2 Mew VMAX actually, but I don't think they want to evolve just yet. You want to have access to Psychically, potentially. And yeah, it looks like it's just Ultra Balling those away, just thinning out the hand. They're really, I believe they're really looking for that Pal Pad at the very least. They have the attacker lined up. They have the block slider Eiscue to be able to do damage here anywhere they want. So
yeah,
I think it's just trying to set up future turns at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the deck is looking at thin there for sure. Collin very aware of all the cards in there and just trying to draw. And here we go. There is the Pal Pad, Wancho. Collin finally able to hit that on that very 3rd Genesect V. We're going to see those supporters go back into the deck. Going to be the Penny and the Iono being shuffled back into the deck here for Collin.
Yeah, the Penny is interesting. I mean, now you're saying you can never put damage counters on my Genesect because I'm just going to pick them up.
You're threatening.
Yeah, but then you could have put back the Judge as well because if the game plan is Aqua Storm, the only way they get to that is really setting up their hand. So right now, the only means of disruption you have left is that 1 Iono. So we do see the block slider attack there, targeting down the Sableye.
Yeah, Sableye being wiped off the board here by a little penguin. The Eiscue taking it out. And we are over here onto Andrew Estrada's side of the field now. Loaded up Lost Zone here. He's now aware these supporters were shuffled back into the deck from Collin's side, so working with that information. Lots of cards in the hand to be played here from Andrew Estrada's side. Cramorant still in the active here since we saw the attack onto the bench, taking that Sableye out, but there's an additional Sableye on the bench here for Andrew. We're going to go back into the discard pile here and shuffle some cards back into the deck. With that Super Rod, it's 3 of any combination of Pokemon or basic energy cards for Andrew Estrada to put back into the deck.
It looks like they're choosing to put back a couple of basic energy, not all basic, 3 basic energy anyway. And no, it looks like he's changing his mind. Nope, it's going to be the Psychic Energy instead. I think, yeah, Psychic Energy is a little bit more important. Andrew Estrada might be shifting gears here and going to just opt for just a bunch of Lost Mine instead. Again, Collin still has to take 4 prize cards. That's quite a bit, in my opinion. Wait, Collin did take a knockout on a Raikou, plus the Sableye.
3 prize cards.
Yeah, he's down to 3. So that's a little bit easier there. So now it's just a matter of, can Andrew outpace him? Can he take 4 prize cards in the next 3 turns? And maybe it starts with the Lost Mine. But
yeah, we were looking to get to that Lost Mine, but didn't have the energy. But now there's plenty of energy back in the in the deck here for Andrew Estrada. Going into the deck as well with the flower selecting Dragonite V, going to go into the Lost Zone here and opting to keep that other card instead into the hand.
I believe it was the Chorus Experiment, which he just immediately played there. And again, thinning out the deck. I think that the game plan is back on with the Aqua Storm because the energy was attached to Comfey instead, setting it up for a future retreat. And Chorus definitely helps out that specific game plan. Benching another Comfey, just going to be a pass. Yeah, so Andrew Estrada, again, has 3 more turns to get it together. Yeah. And let's see what Collin can do here. Again, he has the Eiscue. I think it's just been an amazing attacker here. Cram-o-matic, maybe one of these days it'll be heads.
Yeah, the real life Cramorant has been doing a lot more work than those Cram-o-matics, the fake robot version, crockpot of the Cramorant for sure. Collin has not hit a single Cram-o-matic. All 4 of them have been failures, unfortunately, and sometimes that's how it turns out with these Mew VMAX decks and those risky Cram-o-matics. So that is a little bit clunky here, but let's see what else Collin is working with in the hand here.
Yeah, again, he's probably looking to find at least the Judge potentially, try and time it perfectly. The deck right now is still pretty thick. I'm trying to look at Andrew's hand if it's sizable enough to justify playing the Judge. Or sorry, I believe it was Iono that was shuffled back in. Collin here just going through the discard pile, realizing what else Andrew has. I think he realizes, yeah, there's a lot of energy there in the discard pile. Let's see what else he can do here. He has a Lost Vacuum. He can still thin out his hand if he wants to. But no, it's going to be the block slider taking knockout on the other Sableye. And Collin is down to 2.
Yeah, just 2 prize cards sitting in the way of taking game 1 here for Collin Merli-Matthews. I'm sure both these players' adrenaline is going here, but Andrew Estrada, I do not envy Andrew Estrada in this position right now, having to play like 5D chess currently in this Lost Box matchup. Counting all your cards, making sure you know exactly where your resources are to map out and just try to take all these prize cards in one sweep and take this game away from Collin. And we're going to see if he's able to get there. There's so many cards here in the Lost Zone, Wancho.
I'm pretty sure there's more cards in the Lost Zone than in the deck at the moment,
yes.
Especially after these concealed cards.
Or flower selectings, yeah.
Oh, he did use the concealed card. He's already used the flower selecting. Let's see how many he has left. I believe that was 7, maybe 7 cards. I wish there was a deck counter at this position. Nest Ball being played. Does eye out the Kyogre? Is it time then? You only use the Nest Ball. You only find the Kyogre. When you're finally going to use it, I believe there's 5 cards left in the deck. That's just 1 chorus. We'll have to see here. Again, he's already used concealed cards. He's already used the flower selecting, I believe, energy attachment onto the Kyogre. Escape Rope's now being played.
Yeah, Escape Rope, of course, Collin has to choose first what to put up with Escape Rope. Both of our players are going to switch a different Pokemon into the active here, and Collin's going to opt for the Mew VMAX to go into the active. Andrew Estrada promoting that Comfey that already has the pivot option here of that energy on it. Mirage Gate is going to hit off of that Pokestop as well. So Mirage Gate going straight to the hand. Andrew Estrada has mapped this out absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, there we go. Flower selecting finds the last 2 cards of the deck after the Pokestop. So now it's just a matter of let's put a ton of energy back into the deck. Do we have it here? Do we have the energy recycler? There's 1. Do we also need the Mirage Gates to go with that? There it is, Mirage Gate. And then the energy recycler putting in 5 energy, and just like that, it's going to be Aqua Storm for 250 damage. Andrew Estrada takes the first game here in the top 4 of the Pittsburgh Regional Championships.
Absolutely huge win there for Andrew Estrada, showcasing how powerful Kyogre is. We didn't get to see it before from Andrew, but here we go, taking it into the top 4 and showing us why it is so powerful in this Lost Box deck. Aqua Storm taking a win here for Andrew Estrada. Collin, unfortunately, had absolutely terrible luck in that matchup. It just seemed so clunky. Couldn't get a VMAX for a long time. Didn't hit any single Cram-o-matics there for Collin. It just had absolutely slow turns, but the opposite of the slow turns is this turn right here. Andrew Estrada mapping things out perfectly. And here we go. We got to say it in tandem, Wancho. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Aqua Storm! Woo! Taking that win here for Andrew Estrada. So hyped.
Yes, 500 damage. I think here Collin definitely has to adjust their game plan a little bit. I think what he needs is more disruption. Can you imagine if in that turn he essentially lost, if he could have Iono, or if he could have Judged at that turn? I think that would have been absolutely pivotal. But also he needs to draw more with those Genesects for sure.
Yeah, and maybe hit some heads as well. Get things set up a lot smoother for sure is what Collin is going to be looking to do here. But as we've talked about so much, Collin has played Mew VMAX for so long, knows the ins and outs of this deck, and I'm sure has played against plenty of Lost Box as well, since Lost Box decks have been so prominent in our meta for an incredibly long time. Of course, as we've talked about, Andrew Estrada bringing the only Lost Box into our top 8 and still succeeding so far, representing Canada, taking a win so far, and we're heading into game 2 very soon here. But of course, our players are setting up for that right now before we head into it. It looks like a mulligan?
Yeah, one extra card there to the Mew player. Ooh, a Town Store as well in the prizes, something we haven't seen just yet. He hasn't gone shopping just yet. Looking at Collin's prizes, a double turbo energy, just one Genesect this time, one Power Tablet. Again, nothing too notable. These are cards you have multiples of. Again, I'm not sure how much he'll miss Town Store anyway, because that also helps out Andrew Estrada. As Andrew Estrada draws his cards, let's see what he can get here. Can you imagine? Andrew is one win away from being here at the finals of the Pittsburgh Regional Championships, and that much closer to then $10,000 and an invite to the World Championships.
An invite to the World Championships, indeed, and locking that up in your very first regional is a huge accomplishment. Prize cards over here for Andrew laid out already. A couple of Pokemon in the prizes. Luckily starting a Comfey in the active there as well, but we're actually starting this game 2 of our Masters Top 4 over on Collin Merli-Matthews side with a Battle VIP Pass. This is, I don't think we saw a Battle VIP Pass last game, did we?
Cram-o-matic tried to discard it, but that's it.
Yeah, that's
so Collin already having a better game 2, finding themselves 2 Genesect and a Mew, plus the Nest Ball. All the Pokemon they could want. They have one space left. Let's see if they can play down their hand a little bit more. I believe I saw a tool card with the Choice Belt. And yeah, so it should be at least able to play a couple of cards and then draw with the Fusion Strike systems. Let's see here again. Still shuffling up the deck. The name of the game for Collin, again, is just going to be take those prizes at the same time, disrupt my opponent as much as possible. Can you imagine if they can Lost Zone potentially all their Comfeys if they put Lost City in play? They have the Forest Seal Stone as well onto that Genesect. They have access to pretty much anything they want. And yeah, they're playing. This reminds me more of Mew here.
Yeah, this looks like the Mew VMAX we're very familiar with, and I'm sure Collin feeling a lot better seeing this board state versus the last one we were working with in the last game. So yeah, this is looking much cleaner here for Collin. Just going back into the deck with a Nest Ball. You want to see all of these Pokemon come out here so you can draw as many cards as possible and line things up. And I haven't gotten to see Andrew Estrada's starting hand over there, but there are 2 Psychic Energy as well in the prize cards. To note, it's going to be super important for Andrew to keep track of all of the energy, where they're at, but there's only 3 Psychic Energy in the deck, so only 1 remaining.
Yeah, definitely. Andrew Estrada, I think the name of his game is going to be how am I going to take those first 2 prizes, and then after that, I need to draw like a lot.
I need to draw a lot, yeah. Andrew needs to be drawing a lot and hopefully avoiding disruption from Collin's side of things. Luckily, starting with a Battle VIP Pass of his own, Andrew Estrada going to be able to go into the deck here. And look at this. Andrew Estrada counting all the energy, because it is that important to keep track of those, especially when you're working with the Kyogre version of this deck. You want to make sure you know where all of your resources are. So keeping track of both the Pokemon and the energy is going to be top priority here on this first deck search for Andrew Estrada. Also, 2 of those Pokemon are going to get to come out and join us in the field here as well. Get to work here for Andrew's side of the field.
Definitely. I mean, those energies are your way to do damage. And Andrew Estrada has a couple of key one-of Pokemon, namely the Radiant Greninja and the Kyogre. The Radiant Greninja helps you really set up the board, while the Kyogre is what you use to clean up the board. As, yeah, there we go. We're going to see the Battle VIP Pass really set up here, plus the Nest Ball. I was wondering, he put out 3 Pokemon. And I was just like, the Battle VIP Pass isn't that good just
There's
yet.
the Nest Ball. Yeah, one thing to note, talking about Pokemon that are one-ofs in the deck, Cramorant that we saw get utilized in the last game for Andrew Estrada is also in the prize cards, and that is a one-of in the deck as well for Andrew. So that's stuck in the prizes. Hawluch is in there as well as one of the Switch cards. So definitely, I'm sure Andrew Estrada well knows that, and also I think they're actually chatting about the way that was done, that the Nest Ball didn't come out sooner. I think maybe they're just clarifying some things here.
For sure. Maybe they're trying to debate on, can you get 3 cards off the Battle VIP Pass? It's really not that good. But yeah, it should be no problem there.
Should be easy peasy.
Yeah, they did. Andrew Estrada did have the Nest Ball. Nothing really changes in the board state. But again,
Hey,
just missequencing a little bit.
When you're a Lost Box player, you're thinking like 5 turns ahead, right? So maybe just thinking a little too far ahead there for Andrew Estrada. But hopefully it's not too big of an issue between these players. But of course, this is our top 4 here. So everything is on the line. Got to make sure all the play is legal here in this match. So I'm sure just chatting about things here.
Exactly. But again, looking at Andrew's board, this is, again, I feel like...
Gotcha. Sorry, they actually lost their white noise that's in their headphones.
Oh.
So it was not because of the Nest Ball sort of situation. I was like, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal there. But no, they actually probably can hear everybody right now. So that is obviously a huge issue because we're casting this match.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't give away any key important information. Oh, you know what? I guess what we can talk about is Andrew, Collin, you guys are doing a great job. Congratulations to making it to the top 4 of the regional championships.
Yes. Oh, the crowd go wild out there cheering on these players. What a thing to happen here. Just quick technical difficulties on the field here. But yeah, good thing I didn't just start naming every single card in Collin's hand, right?
Oh, for sure. I think I saw
awkward.
Charizard EX, a Miraidon.
Yeah, let's not talk about anything too crucial so far for this match. But yes, these players, we're going to have to get that figured out here. But wow, Wancho, what do we talk about if we can't talk about the intricacies of this matchup?
Did someone mention Charizard EX?
Yeah, let's talk about a dark Pokemon.
Again, it's something I was rooting for to make it in the top 8. Unfortunately, it's not on there. So that's information we can't give out. We can't give out.
Yeah, Charizard didn't make it through. I'm sorry.
Charizard, Gardevoir, very...
decks that are not these 2 decks whatsoever.
But again, both these players have been playing it absolutely massively. Maybe something we can talk about is the last round, right?
Yeah.
Again, Collin just not being able to draw into the right cards, and Andrew Estrada just really being able to do the big amount of damage, doing the 500 damage with the Kyogre. I wonder
more disruption there for sure, but really there's so minimal of it. I mean, we're talking. Oh, I can't say these things. Watch out! I can't talk about the decks.
we're gonna flip the deck list.
This is actually so difficult.
Okay,
wow.
so Charizard EX again, a very very powerful card again.
Okay, I think I can say this though, Wancho. Jesse Parker took the win in their top 4 matchup, and he will be advancing into our finals. Miraidon EX is our first deck that we're going to be seeing. Of course, we're still in this top 4 match, so we're going to have to see who will be facing off against Jesse Parker. But can you imagine, Moncho? It's your very first top 8 at a regional. Now it's your very first top 4, and now into the finals. Can't wait to see how things conclude there. It looks like we're jumping back into this match, but I don't know, both of these players, maybe a recut out.
No, looks like we're still not moving forward just yet.
Gotcha.
Again, Andrew Estrada still shuffling up their hand, but yeah, talking about Jesse Parker, really looking to make a name for themselves here. This is their first top 8, and now their first final. Could it be potentially their first regional win? And it just happens to be the biggest one.
Yeah, made it through a massive field here in Pittsburgh. I cannot wait to see how this one concludes as well, Wancho, but we're going to have to wait for things here. Why don't we talk to our crowd a bit that's out there? Maybe get some cheers here. Let's see. Who's out there rooting for Mew VMAX for Collin right now? Woo!
Wow,
Yeah, let's go.
A lot of Collin fans, but how about my man Andrew Estrada?
Oh, there we go. I mean, those sounded very similar, Wancho. Both of these players have supporters out there. Maybe they're supporting these players. Yeah, cheers for Wancho, everybody. Woo! Let's go.
Well, now you have to do boo as well.
No. Yeah, boo. Yo, that is too good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're having fun here, waiting for some technical difficulties to be ironed out here between these players and their headsets. But hey, you know what? You can't have the largest regional ever. The first time we're in Pittsburgh without, you know, some technical difficulties in Masters Top 4, right?
It is.
I guess something was bound to go wrong eventually, right, Wancho?
Somehow it's a lot harder to talk about Pokemon when you can't talk about the Pokemon.
Yes, that is very true.
But yeah, something. But again, Parker making it to the finals. Something I really would have loved to watch that match.
Wow. Yeah, I was about to say they came out back to us, but we are back in the game now. The technical difficulties must have been ironed out here. Let's zone back into this, Wancho. We're still on Andrew Estrada's side of the field here. We're going to see a concealed cards off this Radiant Greninja. Lost Zone is up to 2 so far for Andrew, and let's see what else is able to happen on this turn.
Yeah, looks like, 2 cards in the Lost Zone. Looks like they have another Battle VIP Pass. I almost forget, this is their first turn of the game, so they can find even more Pokemon. Let's see what they try to find. They could find themselves a Pokemon V if they opt to try and get maybe the Forest Seal Stone set up, or hey, maybe just need... There's 3 Comfeys in play. What else could we need here? Maybe bench the Sableye just to set those up. We know Cramorant's already in... the Cramorant's still in the prizes. Yeah, Andrew Estrada here just really taking their time, really thinking it out.
Yeah, it's funny because it's... Well, I mean, we were out of this for so long, but when you're looking at, oh, this is Andrew's first turn, but you look at Collin's side of the field, and it's just like tons of Pokemon, tons of cards that have been played, and beautiful Pokemon as well. Look at all those artworks.
Yeah, Collin was ready for the stream here. All the alt art, Mews, and Genesect. Hey, I mean, if you're going to use it all season, right? Might as well
That's true.
take
Like,
the alt art.
Probably collected all the fancy versions of these cards by this point. Andrew Estrada going in with a flower selecting for the turn as well. Going to be 3 now in the Lost Zone. Pokestop joining the Lost Forever Lost Zone cards now. Escape Rope, Collin is going to promote a Pokemon here. Of course, Mew V for Mew V. Easy choice. But that means Andrew Estrada gets to promote another Comfey and lead to another flower selecting. Slowly getting through this. Honestly, this looks pretty solid, actually, for Andrew Estrada, getting all of these cards into the Lost Zone. It is unfortunate that the Cramorant is stuck in the prize cards here, but Andrew Estrada is working around this and getting things as established as possible with, yet again, another flower selecting. This is going to be the 3rd of the turn, but is it going to be the Mirage Gates or a Sableye?
It's a Lost Vacuum, actually. Very tough choice here because Andrew Estrada's up to 5 cards in the Lost Zone on the very first turn, mind you.
Jeez.
So if he gets this Lost Vacuum, he can play down the Stadium or play down the Forest Seal Stone, send it to the Lost Zone, and now that he's at 7, he can use Mirage Gate and attack with the Raikou and take 2 prizes on the very first turn of the game.
That is huge, but that Sableye is going to have to go to the Lost Zone in order to keep that card. So it is gone. There's only 2 Sableye in the deck, so only working with that one that's out on the bench. But energy coming down onto that Raikou, Wancho. Woo!
There it is, and the Forest Seal Stone, probably a little bit more important because that means they can find anything they want from the deck. I'm not quite sure what they need. Their hand is absolutely huge. Possibly the Mirage Gate. They have a target. They have the Lost Vacuum already. I'm not quite sure what they need. Maybe it's more of, I'm going to lose this Raikou next turn. Might as well make use of the Forest Seal Stone since I need a Lost Vacuum target. Anyway, maybe find themselves a Chorus for the next turn if they don't have it. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully Andrew shows this.
Yeah, holding the cards close here, but also just glancing through the deck and mapping out this turn. I mean, you have a huge hand with Lost Box decks most of the time, so making sure that's, you know, what you're doing here with all of your cards.
Wow, I don't think this has ever happened in the history of Forest Sealstone, but it's
What?
just, I'll grab a card that's completely useless
But
to send
hey,
someone
hey, it's not useless if it's discard, or should I say lost zone fodder here. Battle VIP Pass was searched out with that Forest Sealstone. Lost Vacuum is going to add both of those cards into the Lost Zone, bringing us to 7 now, which activates that Mirage Gate, just as you talked about, Wancho, which allows Andrew Estrada to get those energy out. Of course, different types of energy, but you can attach them to your Pokemon, and one's going to come down onto that Comfey to be able to move it out of the active position into that Raikou V.
Yeah, and you know, Boo, we were talking about how amazing Collin's turn was, able to draw so many cards, able to set up so many Mews, have energy attachment. I think Andrew's was just a little bit better, getting 7 cards in the Lost Zone on the very, very first turn of the game, setting up the Raikou and taking 2 prizes.
Look at that. First 2 prize cards here for Andrew Estrada, similar to last game that we saw, so maybe that is some foreshadowing potentially, Wancho. Andrew Estrada only needs 4 more prize cards to be in our finals, but Collin is going to run away with this turn, hopefully, because there's still a lot of Pokemon here, a lot of cards to be drawn at the moment.
Yes, again, Collin starting out with, I believe, Elesa Sparkle, able to accelerate 2 Fusion Strike energy, setting up the Mew on the bench to be able to attack at the very least. And by using Fusion Strike energy, you don't have the downside of the double turbo, so you actually don't need any damage modifier, even if the Mew actually has a choice belt attached. So Collin has pretty much everything, just needs to find the Mew VMAX to really get going here. And then from there, he'll take 2 prizes as well, but from there he starts to need to disrupt. Andrew Estrada has taken his first 2 prize cards of the game. His goal now is to take the last 4, and you take the last 4 all at the same time with the Aqua Storm. All he needs to do is literally sit and draw, flower select, use your Color's Experiment, get all those cards in your hand, get the necessary combo pieces, and then pop off.
Yes, that is exactly what Andrew is going to be looking to do, but last game at least, the Mew VMAX eluded Collin, so we'll see if that changes up for this game at the very minimum. Switch Cart is going to be played here, thinning another card. It's just going to be a 1-card draw there off of that first Genesect V. It is into a Forest Sealstone. The V-Star power has not been used yet, so Collin is actually just able to go into the deck now with that Star Alchemy ability on the Forest Sealstone attached to that Genesect V and get any card out of the deck.
Yeah, from here, if I was Collin, probably eyeing out an Ultra Ball instead of straight up getting the Mew VMAX, or even potentially Judge. Looks like they're putting Judge to the top there. I like that as well. Oh, but I believe we've already used the supporter for turn, have we not?
Elesa Sparkle? Yes. Oh, yeah. No, we did. Yes, we did. We did use we targeted a Pokemon. We did put the Fusion Energy. This actually happens very commonly, Wancho, because Elesa Sparkle, sometimes it like...
Is it really a supporter?
Yeah,
it
low-key doesn't
energy.
feel... This also happened all the time with Silene as well. But yes, unfortunately, supporter was already played for turn from Collin, so maybe just thinking too far ahead here for Collin.
I like his mindset. This is exactly what we needed to do, right? You needed to disrupt the opponent. You need to play the Judge. You need to stop them from using the Aqua Storm. But maybe not the same turn. You've also have accelerated energy.
Yeah, definitely not that turn for sure.
I think Forest Sealstone definitely should have grabbed the Ultra Ball instead. Ultra Ball discarding the Battle VIP Pass and the Forest Sealstone. That's why I like the fact that he opted to not attach that Forest Sealstone. I think he was looking to discard it instead. But now, yeah, the fact that Judge has been played, and more importantly, his hand was shuffled into the deck.
Yes, that's what I was just thinking about, Wancho. Unfortunately, game states do get broken here from our players. They're thinking, they're on stream, lots of pressure here, and it does happen. But then you have to start to think, okay, how do we undo this, and what are the consequences of this broken game state as well? So we'll have to see what is decided on by our judges here, what they're going to come to, and how this is going to turn out. But oh my gosh, if this does result in some sort of penalty, that is detrimental here, unfortunately, for Collin.
That is pretty big. Again, it's something you hate to see here at the top 4. You're so close to making it to the finals. Yes, you're down a game, but you still can get back in there, especially since your start was pretty good, in my opinion. But again, this board state, I don't think it's something you can fix. The judge was, you shuffled your cards back into the deck. But again, that's why we have expert judges here at the Pokemon Regional Championship, in the Pittsburgh Regional Championships. I have full trust in our judges. I'm sure we'll get to the right outcome.
The conclusion very soon, hopefully. Unfortunately, Wancho, we're stuck in this box again. Oh no! What's up, everybody?
At least this time we can at least talk about the board state, their Pokemon things.
Yeah, that's true. They can't hear us, so that's at least helpful here. Yeah, I mean, I guess we got so into this game now, coming back from the technical difficulties, but unfortunately we're stopped again. But what are you thinking so far? Let's say Collin chose to grab that Ultra Ball. It's wild too, because the Ultra Ball was being eyed up by Collin.
Top,
like we were thinking that's what was going to be potentially the target. But where does that go after that, Wancho? I mean, does the game look pretty even from there on out?
Not at all. You get the Ultra Ball, you get to attack. That's good.
Yes.
But you lost 2 prizes very, very early in the game. And I mentioned it earlier. That means Andrew Estrada is just sitting pretty. He's just sitting down, waiting and waiting for the opportune moment to really use that Aqua Storm attack. And he has so many turns to do so. Again, yes, Collin's going to be able to take 2 prizes. And then from there, he has 4 more attacks. He has 4 more prizes to go through. That's 4 turns for Andrew. 4 turns of flower selecting. 4 turns of using the Chorus Experiment. 4 turns of using Mirage Gates to thin the deck. That thins the deck even. Even Pokestop thins the deck. It's very likely that Andrew Estrada could get to the bottom of the deck in any case. Again, he had such an explosive turn 1.
Yeah, we watched him do it in the last game. He could very well do that again and make his way into the finals here in Pittsburgh. We'll have to see what happens there. But I got to say, it must be painful to sit there and just watch your opponent run through their deck, knowing that the inevitable is coming for you and not being able to do anything. You know, once you don't have that disruption anymore, it must hurt to watch a Lost Box player just absolutely run away with an Aqua Storm.
Yeah, exactly. It's heartbreaking to see when you just feel absolutely powerless when they're just, can they actually get through their deck? And to me, the sign is once a Lost Box player starts playing extremely fast, that means they have everything. They know exactly what they need to play.
But we've also seen mistakes made when they start playing fast, but then they miscalculate something. We've seen that happen too. And honestly, I feel like what's happening right now, we're trying to resolve an issue of broken game state. This happens quite often when you get into these top 4 or top 8, top 4 matches. It's so unfortunate to see, but the pressure is just on for these players. And unfortunately, this is where we're at. Hopefully we'll have a conclusion between both of these judges here that are sitting at the table between our players, and we'll be able to continue with this match potentially here.
Again, just to quote Kyle Sablehouse once again, sometimes you just got to play fast, even if you make mistakes, right? But maybe not in top 4.
Not mistakes that are detrimental to you winning, I guess, or give you some sort of penalty.
But again, you really do have to play fast though, especially in this type of deck. You're up against Lost Box. It takes a minute, right? And even if we have more time in the top cut, we have 27 minutes left, and Collin has to take 2 games.
Yes, well, we will have, of course, like a time extension. Once this once these judges rule on whatever happens here, there will be a time extension. But again, if there is some sort of penalty, it's going to look very rough for Collin. The judges are reviewing play right now, and I've been told that they're going to pull the cards out of the deck that were put into the deck from Collin, or shuffled back into the deck. So maybe that will resolve the broken board state here for Collin, but I don't know. We will have to wait and see what happens.
Hey, that's
here.
the beauty of the game being streamed, right? We had full view of the hand,
that's
potentially, and we could take stock of what was in there. I guess something that is reversible versus something you're playing on the field, for example.
Yeah,
But
there are different levels of
Yes.
game errors that do happen in the Pokemon TCG. So when they're reversible, that's great. It just takes some time here. We got to get some time extensions.
Definitely. I mean, I really do want to see this match to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Both these players have played their hardest to make it here, and it would be heartbreaking to see just see it end here, right?
Yes.
And honestly, I want to see another Aqua Storm.
Yeah, selfishly for sure, that would be very cool. I gotta say, Juancho, I feel like maybe we are the cursed casting duo, because why do we always end up in judge calls?
I really didn't want to bring that up.
Well, I'm bringing it up for you.
Backstage, people have been calling me the king of 70-30.
Yeah. Stuck in this box forever, Juancho. It must be something about your aura. Just throws our players off there on the fields. But no, I think hopefully we'll have some sort of conclusion here. It looks like there's some discussion here from the judges to the players. Of course, they can't hear us. They can't hear you in the crowd, but they all have comms to each other in their ears to talk about things that are happening on the table there.
Yeah, right now they can't hear us. Earlier was a different story, apparently.
Yeah, that was, that shouldn't happen.
Interesting for sure. Yeah, looks like we will get a conclusion. Would love to know if we will have more Pokemon, because, you know, more Pokemon is always good. Would love to see more games here, and let's see if we can get if we can make it happen. But yeah, definitely think Estrada is in an amazing position, especially if we have a DPL potentially, or some sort of adjustment to the game. But
yeah, I'm sure we'll get word on that once it is decided on here.
Yes.
But it has to be confirmed for sure.
100%.
So much on the line here for both of these players. But yeah, I mean, it looks like they're ready to start playing again. So once we get a full confirmation of...
if we're starting again, so if you remember right, Force Seal Stone, just to recap,
I know, right? Catch me back up, Juancho. I was brought out of the game, and now I got to jump back in.
Yeah, Force Seal Stone was used to find the... Yeah, looks like we just got confirmation. It's going to be a double prize penalty, so Estrada only has to get 2 more prizes to close this one out. And yeah, Collin here, again, looks like he went for a Psychic Leap. Again, with the Force Seal Stone, he opted to grab a Judge. Judge does not get you Mew VMAX, unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah, that is very unfortunate indeed, but that is how things played out here. You hate to see those red Pokeballs up there at the top, but I guess not if you're Andrew Estrada. It's unfortunate it happened that way, but now Andrew Estrada is that much closer to a 2-0 here and advancing into the finals here in Pittsburgh as the lone Lost Box player. So let's watch, you know, this pro work his magic here with this deck.
So right now, again, I've talked about Andrew Estrada's game plan, or potential game plan, is doing the Aqua Storm to do 500 damage. But now he only needs to take 2 more prize cards. And something of note, he has the Raikou in the active. It hasn't been knocked out. He can potentially attack again. But I believe the damage cap is 180 with the amount of Pokemon in play. Luckily, Genesect has 190 HP. That's why Collin actually used Psychic Leap to reduce the damage on the Raikou. Very heads-up play there if you have nothing else to do. If Andrew could potentially just set up Dragonite instead, that could technically win him the game. But there's 4 cards on. There's 5 Pokemon on the bench, so he's essentially bench locked. He has to attack with either the Raikou again, or maybe attack with the Sableye.
Yep, and a huge hand to work with here as well. Some more time as well. There was a 6-minute time extension for these players, and the hand was reconstructed on Collin's side as well with that Judge in hand. But Andrew Estrada going to use Escape Rope here, another Genesect V coming into the active, straight into a flower selecting. And it's, the Echoing Horn.
Echoing Horn puts a Pokemon in play, increasing the damage on Raikou, and that's going to be a knockout on the Genesect V. Andrew Estrada is going to progress to the finals of the Pittsburgh Regional Championship.
Huge plays there from Andrew Estrada. It was a little bit clunky here on the stream, but we got there. And hey, Wancho, we also got to see the Aqua Storm as well.
Yeah.
And that's always nice to see for sure. Huge congratulations there to Andrew Estrada, but it's not over yet. Going into the finals here against Jesse Parker, who's going to be playing Rhydon EX. But let's take a quick look back at the match that we just saw and